This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your live market chat. Monday, October 2nd, 2023. The Monday starting of a month. New money coming in. New money not coming in that strong, in my opinion. Let's give it a few minutes to let people join, but this is basically a free or a live open chat. Free. Everything's free. I just wanted to kind of go through a bunch of things that I am seeing, wanted to share with folks. Certain trades I took today. Trades and things that I'm expecting, and just kind of expectations the rest of the week. So we know Congress kicked the can down the road. Is anyone surprised by that? They only got 45 days, which to me is very interesting. 45 days is not a long amount of time. This means this battle is going to be continuing. Also, too, if you're in the Discord room, want to drop a comment, put it in the friends chat. I'll try to answer it live. This is a pickle for them because nobody wins here. I feel like interest rates, and again, maybe I'm wrong, but the way that interest rates are acting, it's acting like our fiscal deficit is just exploding, and nobody thinks we're a good credit risk. And I could be wrong here. I thought interest rates would go lower, but this is why we have the mindset of pivoting. When the evidence changes, so do our opinions. Like, we're not fixed on to holding on to something or buying something just because it's low or it's shorting because it's high. Gold, silver. Yeah, you know what I mean? And at this point, interest rates don't look good. So let's give it a few minutes, let people roll on in. If you have any questions, here, right? Meow. Answering any questions, Eric? Hopefully I'll see you in here. And yeah, I mean, we posted Apple. I did a Micron trade, but I didn't get a chance to post it. I just did it at the gym. I just figured when Micron got into the 69 area, it was a short. I mean, we'll talk about that. So what's up, Scott? How's it going, buddy? How are we doing today? And Apple one is kind of an interesting one because, again, back testing a bunch of old trend lines, support zone. And I was watching the hourly when I got home from the gym, and I wasn't going to add it, but I was like, this is like free money here. This is just free money at this point. I was like, all right, well, you can't go wrong shorting this area. Like, support equals resistance. Just the first hour, I didn't get it because I was at the gym, and then I was just watching it. I was like, 174.20. Now, again, that fib is kind of, let's just remove it because it's an older one. But it was just interesting because I'm sitting here like something smells a little fishy. Something smells a little fishy up here. I was like, maybe the 200 period I'll add if we get more, but didn't even get there. So, hey, Shannon. Apple's nice. Yeah, thank you, man. Great call on the short. Thanks, Scott. Again, I think with oil, we told you guys. We tried to impress upon people. There is nothing safe. There is no safety in the market. And so people trying to hide in oil. No, that is not safe. Now, again, I'm not expecting oil to collapse to negative futures prices like it once did, but don't be surprised. Just keep in mind, though, we do have OPEC meeting on Wednesday. The lower oil goes, the more they will jawbone. Just, take note. I was like putting in my mind. Lower oil goes, I'm going to write that again. Oil goes, more OPEC will jawbone. And what I mean by jawbone is try to talk up price. We all not agree? Can we get hell yeah? Like Steve Austin, like smashing some Budweisers. Like, yeah, if oil start dropping pretty rapidly, they're going to talk a big game. But remember, it's, trust among the thieves, right? Like, good luck with that. And good call. I have to give shout out to my boy Saba. He was saying 95 area. 95. What was the exact high? Basically 95. Look at it. So you can see it all to the left. So again, credit where credit's due. If you give me a trade, you give me an idea, I'm not going to say, I'm just a genius. No, that's why I love the Discord room. If you're not a part of it, you're either a clown who had to leave because you're not willing to just drop the ego and just let things go. Because again, I'm very critical of people who just make the same mistake over, because it's like, why would I not reaffirm the same mistake that you're making? It potentially, you're gambling, you're taking on risks that's not necessary, because I've done it before. Like, again, the goal of the room is not for me to just hand out winners. It's for you to become the best trader possible, so that if I somehow get knocked off by the CIA, you still can trade. You can do great. You still be an amazing trader, because I've instilled in you the discipline and the rules and the ability to trade, not you're attached to my nipple. for ideas. Like, that's not how it should be. What time is it? We got another minute before I really start digging in. Look at that. Low of the day. Wow. IWM. Jesus. Holy crapola. Zzz, pow. Down 1.69%. Yikes. Dollar ripping again. Everyone wants to short the dollar. I'm like, well, you want to buy bonds? I mean, again, I understand. But I'm just not. Why would I go to a trade that's just not working at the moment? And we know there'll be some sort of reversal in those trades, but we're just not there yet, y'all. We are just not there yet. What's the Fed watch tool? I mean, it's got to be still for a pause over Thanksgiving. Oh. Creeping up. That rates might go higher. Whoa. That is actually changed. We were at 86% last time I looked. 15%. It's a decent little bump. So, any questions, concerns, thoughts? Because, again, I appreciate the hellos and the love. And thank you, Eric, for the donation today, man. I appreciate it. Hopefully you're killing it, man. Well, actually, I know you're killing it. I just don't have any doubts. Hopefully you're doing well. Your family's doing well. Again, always offer this to people. And a lot of you guys who are regular donation folks, because you have done well, what is the one thing that all of them have done? They have all spoken to me directly. They have asked to reach out, or I've reached out to them. Reached out to them just to check in and be like, how's it going? How can I serve and help you with your goals? Like, where are you at mentally? What are the things that you're struggling with? What can we do to help you be better? If you think you're alone on this, that's fine. That's your choice. All right. 1050 people should be here. Let's just kind of looking at Bitcoin's interesting going up there. I might be actually, you guys will love this. I might be actually going to El Salvador and Bitcoin Beach and seeing all this stuff for a little vacation. Oil holding up. I just don't think it's going to last. Does it have to be like an immediate, just monster smash? It's tough to know. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw 85 pretty quick. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. 85 could come quick. Because again, recession, demand destruction. People are hiding out. It's a crowded trade. We all know this. We all know what happens to crowded trades. They become uncrowded with a fire. And people are like, why are you laughing at a fire? No, I'm not. Sorry. I'm just saying. Again, if you're new to the channel, check out tradingagent.com. Marcus account 5.4%. I think it's 5.4%. Someone confirm that. I keep forgetting to look. It's like the last thing on my mind. I don't care. It's just better than what I was making at First Citizens and Chase and all these other banks that I have capital at when I was getting paid poop. I mean, it felt like poop when you're significantly lower than inflation rate. Follow on Twitter. Appreciate it. Also, too, if you want the link for the Marcus, any of these accounts, I'll drop them in there. And check out, I'm telling you, please, for the love of God, if you have money with Schwab, I don't know how this all plays out, but or any of these other brokerages that seem suspect, do not be scared to move money to a new brokerage. I'm telling you, you do not want to get stuck. Say you're short something, and then all of a sudden the brokerage goes out of business or gets the survivorship, they pass it on to someone else and they don't unwind your trade, and all of a sudden they throw a ton of liquidity in the market and say you're short something and it turns into a monster loss. Or you had puts or calls that you just needed to unload and you got stuck. Oh, that would just be like the ultimate, like them just taking your money and maxing out your loss. Trust me, you would regret that heavily. Heavily. All right, any questions, thoughts, concern? Again, I'll show you the Apple trade. Again, I'll reload that. Again, looking at the daily, like, interesting. Watching the hourly, like, this area matters. I mean, could we have gotten up to 175? I always thought that was in my mind. But I was like, again, where's my man Jay Solstice? Don't bring a ruler to trading. Well, it has to get to 175 to short it. It has to get to the 0.16618. It has to get to the volume at price zone to short it. Womp, 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 womp. Maybe it does later. Again, can't rule that out, but initially, noted it did not. Dollar. Look at this thing. Cooking. What's up, bro? Cooking. Dollar. I mean, again, are we getting up to the channel high? An old, I guess that's not an old channel. That was old support. Let me clean up my dollar. I mean, maybe it gets up to this channel. Either way, it doesn't. it's hard to short this thing. It's hard to short the thing. Bonds, I mean, I said this on the weekend recap. People are like, oh, sorry. I was like, ugh. It's time to, the bottom's in. I was like, is the bottom in? One gap, two gap. Now we got the three gap trap. The volume's down here. I just worry that if you play in this field, you might not get the returns you'd like from other things. The VIX barely over 18 and change. Building up. Next leg. Hello, maybe next leg for the race. SPY, you know, everyone's calling it bullish. Oh, the market's oversold. It has to rally. No, I have seen, I mean, just like the market can rally higher than you think it can go lower than you think it can. Don't believe the bullshit, isn't it? Don't believe that stuff. I'm telling you, be careful. Coming back down. I don't know what someone said it hit the EMA, maybe here, the 200 EMA. I think, why wouldn't we just blast right through all this, in my opinion? Things are not good. I mean, if you know a recession's coming and the market's closer to the highs, are you going to hold? Or are you just going to dump? Especially with the Q, same kind of thing. You're dumping. And again, Goldman came out this morning and they said the top 7 tech names haven't been cheaper in forever. Again, it was such a weird headline. I read through it and was like, why are they cheap? Cheap is relative. Remember we had this fundamental conversation? I don't know. What's cheap? IWM making new lows. DIA, I think this is making new lows, isn't it? Yeah, not good. Where is it? I want to check out the IYT. I haven't checked it out today. Ooh, well, that's definitely making new lows. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, IYT looks like poop. Harry says XBI slaughtered. Yeah. Oh, boy. Things that aren't bullish. Gold. And again, I'm going to sit here because I know there's some people who are quietly just seething mad that I'm right on gold. What did I tell you? Do not buy it till the Feds pivot. Have the Feds pivoted? Now, again, could it chop around? Leave it the fuck alone. If you buy gold and you tell me about it and it makes you a point, I'm going to reach through the computer, grab you by the neck, and just slap you around nicely and go, why? Why do you have to buy it? But Dan, I thought silver was a good trade. No. No, leave it alone. GDX, what did we say? These things can get slaughtered. They're gonna get slaughtered. They're gonna get slaughtered. See you down in the teens. And maybe it doesn't get there in a straight line, but either way, leave it alone. Is this clear? Like, I feel like I get so many people who are like so very involved in the metals and the miners, and they're just like, man, they're cheap. Inflation. I'm like, they're a liquidity proxy. If it was all about inflation, these names would be much higher. Wake the fuck up. Excuse my language. Wake up. Seriously. Do not be in denial of reality. Newmont would not be crashing below range lows if this was all about inflation. How much do I have to yell and scream? No, I mean, but how many times do I have to say it before people are like, oh, I got to get in on this stuff? No. Oh, Micron, that was the other trade put on today. Sorry. I got stopped out of some meta stuff, which is slightly disappointing, but you know what? That's part of stops. Micron, 20-day. More of just kind of watching this. I was like, all right, anything up above this 69 level. And I just put this on with feel. This wasn't even like a trade that I posted. I was just like, I mean, you can see, right? Can you see? By the dawn, early light, anything up in here. I was like, this is a gift. Now, again, didn't get the whole shebang. But if we get retest, I will be batting down the hatches. Oil. A lot of people are like, congrats, you did well on oil. Well, we'll see again. I mean, I'm not anticipating a complete collapse yet. We are holding Sopuerto. Again, if you got options, I hope to God you have time. Support has held. ExxonMobil, same thing. Not surprised it held the 114s. Let me redraw this on the hourly. You can see it very clearly. You'll see it on the daily too. Holding. Not surprised. Not surprised one bit. Does it need a reload to smash? Maybe. Good winning trades. Congratulations. Holler at your boy if you want to buy me a beer. Donation links are included below. Again, here's the Micron daily. Again, 20 day. It's just too obvious. Caterpillar. Again, I've got long dated puts on this in time. I'm kind of just, it's like the chop top. The longer this chops, the bigger the drop. That's all I can tell you. 10 cuidado. Be careful. Have time. Are there any other trades out there? I mean, no, that's not. I mean, you could, if you're on the financials, they look good. They'd be looking good. Another gap and potentially go. Goldman, breaking channels. Yeah, see you later, Eric. Have a good one, man. Yep. Scott, one dividend aristocrat blue chip company has fallen off the map. MMMM. Yeah, if it's fallen off the map and lost momentum. Again, I mean, you are a dumpster diver. You are an absolute dumpster diver. What about MMMM? Yeah, they have tons of lawsuits. They have tons of liability, I feel like, and some sort of future issues that they've got to pay back, which, again, I don't know. I mean, again, I don't want to try to assume I know what's happening with MMM. I mean, if you're losing all your business and you're getting sued, just a red flag for the Dow Jones. Okay, fair enough. I wish you would have said that initially. But yeah, I mean, that part of the Dow, they'll probably get kicked out of the Dow before anything goes. That might be the next rumor that happens for them. Maybe they'll replace it with, man, they love picking losers at the high or winners at the highs. Maybe they'll replace it with, didn't they add Tesla? Isn't Tesla on the Dow? I can't remember. That'd be a funny one. Tesla on the Dow. Does anyone know that? I mean, no way. I don't think it is. But that'd be hilarious if they did add it. That would be comical. I would laugh. All right. Well, I'm glad you're not dumpster diving. But I mean, again, it's tough to. I mean, it could be a novice gap trap. I just don't know what kind of momentum you have on up trades with a market that's losing upward momentum. The only way this bounces, and it's kind of like what I said with Roblox, is like when shorts see better shorts opportunities, they'll cover. We talked about that down here, right? Well, here you had another one. Market dumped, Roblox ripped. Well, at some point, it just ain't going to do that. Revving up. Apple could be revving up Formula One global rights thanks to Lionel Messi. Look at me. Oh, gosh. Roblox hires another executive from big tech, this time from Meta. Well, that's funny. Okay, well, just kind of looking around on some of the headlines. If I go expand search dominance, yeah, of course. CEOs talking their book. Surprised? Nope. Nope. Meta, I mean, or Tesla, that was interesting this morning because I think pre-market, yeah, it got down to 240 again. All right, it's holding up. I mean, again, it's the new month, new money. Plowing in certain names. Micron, again, I think this is going to be a home run because chop top, this is like the real first bounce after earnings. If it starts unwinding, oh my God. You could see this thing go 0 to 0. You could go it from 69 to 0 real quick. I don't know what mile per hour, but it could go fast. We're on the 10-4 quarter mile. Is it 10-4? Yeah, something like that, right? Anyway, any other questions, thoughts, concerns? Meta, you son of a biscuit. It's all right. Traded around it and just didn't make a new high, but I was just like, you know what? After 305, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get out this morning. I'd rather have capital just in case. Now, this is where sometimes people are like, oh, you messed up. And it's like, yeah, but you know what? If you take the loss or you just keep your discipline, all of a sudden other gifts show up. I always tell people, like, if you believe in an abundant universe, taking stops is like the opportunity to find and reload other opportunities. And maybe this one does dump and it just goes after it. Whatever. Will not shed a tear. Would not shed a single tear. Would be very thankful because that means that my other positions are probably doing pretty well. Excel. I'm just curious. Materials. Any other thoughts, questions, concerns? Again, I'd really like to open this up for you guys to say whatever you want to say. And again, if it's you want to talk junk, I don't care. Oh, God. Materials, industrials, not looking so hot. Let's look at the housing. Housing names. Again, my energy is pretty low because it's like, are you not expecting this to happen? Were you expecting the market to rip? Did you get caught into this? I sold Geo. Oh, again, you're trading stuff I don't pay attention to, man. I don't know. Geo. Again, the trash. These things are hard because they're like, they turn into pump and dumps. Again, if it's news-based, I don't know. But clearly the upper eights is a resistance, though. I mean, I'm not going to tell you right or wrong, but if you bought it at the lows, it's just imagine if you bought this thing at 7 and you just watched this and it played out for 4 months and you just sat in this and capital was tied up. So I can imagine on the first major rip, people who were in this name were like, get me the fuck out. Could it go higher? I don't know. Does it have any catalysts? Again, these cheap stocks. Yeah, I mean, you're just, again, you're hoping to relive the past. I know rising crime. Trust me, I know what they do. But again, like, you're trying to sell a narrative on things which you hope, again, like, that's what's so hard here. Like, you can't believe these narratives. Just try to stay to the not fundamentals, but the technicals and the action, and just be careful. It's really hard to go long in a market that's heading lower. It's really hard to short a market that's rising. Like, it just doesn't really benefit you. It's not propelling your action in your favor. Which, again, I get it. Geo, what they do. I know what they do. Just, I don't know. You're playing with fire. Take the profits if you got to. I mean, these are names. Again, it's just, you only have so much capital. That is the hardest thing to realize. When the index is still so high, it's hard to long certain. I mean, again, I wouldn't be long in anything up here. There's such clear, obvious shorts. And there's lots of room to drop. That's the thing. I mean, it's like, why would I go long anything? Anyone see NVIDIA today? I'll be saving capital for this one tomorrow. If this thing bounces back to 450, pound the fuck out. Excuse my language. Pound it. I mean, maybe even the back test of the channel. Remember, don't bring a ruler to this thing. But this thing seems like such an obvious pound towner. Like, I mean, I'm talking about, I'm not saying once in a lifetime, but this is the thing. Like, as we've talked about many times, like, off the highs, you're going to get a bounce, right? Because at some point, just looking at this, people are going to go, they're going to have like the Scott mentality. Like, if I got to go long something, I want to buy something on a dip, which, again, if it was an upward market, it makes sense. But you do get counter moves in particular names at certain times. Like, that's very natural, right? Again, certain things are making lows, some things are going to be making, bouncing. Certain things that are not bouncing are going to be making new lows. I mean, it's just, again, every stock is not the same in particular how it's going to act. But tech got this little bounce with more AI hype, and it's like, whoa. NVIDIA holding 100-day, clear as day. You could have played the up, I guess, if you really wanted to. I mean, that's always a possibility if that's one of the things you wanted to do. But then this is where I go, patience, just to let it play out. Because, again, I mean, if it gets to where prices make sense, then I want to take it. If it doesn't, I don't care. And the people who definitely shorted in the 500 range, I mean, they probably got squeezed a little bit. Remember, this is a momentum name. Don't be surprised this thing has bounces. It gives up. Zeph, I've talked about gold miners. Leave them the fuck alone. You're not new, so why would you ask, dude? You gotta leave gold miners alone. Do not buy gold miners until the feds pivot. You cannot play in the gold, silver miner space. If you want to play oversold bounces, go right ahead. You can pick up pennies in front of a bulldozer, but absolutely not. Leave gold mine. I mean, it's like I'm a broken record. How many times have I told people, if you have a downward trajecting market with heavy potential drop with a credit crunch, gold miners are not just trading gold, y'all. They have a business. And if they can't get capital to get gold out of the ground, they become a worthless company. And then if you get higher interest rates and then gold prices are dropping, their margins are squeezing. If oil's going higher and their biggest input is oil, they have problems. You just got to leave them alone. There's no right price. Yeah, AG is in the fours. There's just not a right price. I don't know where the bottom is going to be. I said months ago, I'd love to see AG in the fours, right? Like, y'all remember this. I have, look at on my monthly. I have the trend line. I have the alarm. Do you think I am buying AG today? Do you think I am stepping up and going, you know what? The best trade is what? Buy 8? No. Fuck. No, excuse my language. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I've traded in metals and miners my whole career. Here's the last major crash of a recession, and here's the COVID one. Look what miners did. 32 to 16. We are nowhere close to the end of the pain train in this trade. That's why the folks that bought the dust, we talked about this. Again, I don't want to chart it, but I just remember telling people, I'm like, man, you can buy it down here in the 9s and 10s. And then we talked about the dip down 11s. Look at this. Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, why would you watch gold miners if there's like a little reversal here and there? There's no juice to squeeze. It's a fucking dry lime. You want to make margaritas and party and you're buying dry limes from the store. There's no reason to even just leave them there. Go get a different lime. Go look at different things. Again, if you are consumed by watching names that are not going to provide opportunity, what are you doing? And the only reason why I'm adamant about it is because I've been there. As someone who's traded gold in the miners for 20 plus years, there are times where I've absolutely wasted immense amounts of potential mental and physical capital on playing these names, and all they did was fuck me. They wasted my time, they wasted my opportunities, and they wasted my potential. And so that's where I'm going to say it to you over and over and over and over again. Do not play in the shit pool. Am I frustrated? No, I'm frustrated because you're asking this question and you know better. And I'm not mad at you. I'm just like the situation. Like, you're this. I get this question every day. I get people trolling every day, and I'm like, okay, you do it. But the history shows itself over and over and over again. Leave it alone. What's oversold? What's overbought? We talk about that as a potential, but don't never discount the fact that things like, as Livermore said, things will go lower than you think and things will go higher. NVIDIA, Tesla at times went higher than we ever thought. I've watched gold and the miners go lower than I thought made any sense. And so when I hear these questions they show to me, and the same people who've been around, it's just, I feel bad. It's frustrating from the perspective of like, you know the answer. No, again, it's just, if you are new, fine. But you've been around, you know the answer to this question. It's like, why do people feel the need to do things that are ultimately going to bring pain? Have you learned the lesson? I always tell people, like, have you learned the lesson? Because if you want to go back into things that don't bring you, like, aren't the best opportunities, because that's what we have to try to look for. Is, again, we don't remember. It's hindsight's 20/20, right? So you're looking for the best opportunities. The only opportunities that I've always said in gold and miners has been short or sell them and leave them alone. If the feds have not pivoted, which and again, people say like, you sound further. I say it every day on every video, 17 times a week, 100 times a month. Every day I feel like I have to say it. And it's like the same people have been around. It's like, how did you not hear this? I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like, why? Lower prices don't mean it's a discount just yet. Just like trash names. This thing looks like it's about to go diving. It's breaking support with a gap. Do you see this? It's breaking support with a gap. Leave it alone. How could it be a trap? I don't know. But do you want to play it for 50 cents? $1? I don't know what the potential bounce is. Bounce to 27. You can make $1 in an Apple in 20 minutes if you shorted it. You can make $1 in Micron quickly. You can make dollars in Caterpillar, SMH, Meta, you name it. ExxonMobil, pick and choose your battles. That's the thing that, I'm not mad. It's just a repeating theme about traders who are not successful and people who just hopefully grow over time. Is you have to learn to let things go that serve you no benefit. If the trade and reoccurring pattern isn't into your favor, you're going to find that you drain your mental capital on things that bring you no benefit. It's like people were talking about natural gas for months, and finally people just stopped. I'm like, it's not going anywhere. But what about the UNG at 6? I mean, it was at like, Dan, it was at like 34. You know, just like I know, there's nothing worse than being in a trade that doesn't go anywhere when the market's moving in your favor, whether it's short or long. This action pisses me off as a trader, right? Like it's frustrating. This action, thinking that it's time to buy gold or the miners before the Fed pivots, is going to drive you crazy. And these little bounces along the way, what do? Trap, trap, trap. That's all they are, is just traps. And the thing that people don't realize is like, you're no different than some sort of Tesla stooge who has like in their mind, like, we're going back to 400, bro. It's just bigger swings, but the same thing. Like, no, you're not. And if you are, well, then it'll be after the bear market. So it's not worth, it'll go lower before it goes higher. This is the problem. Like, this is such a thing. Like, again, if you can't understand the psychology of investing in things that drain your mental and emotional capital, then you don't understand trading. You're going to find yourself in a position where you do the same things over and over again. And it's, as I said in an analogy last night, it's like dating somebody, girl or guy, whatever. I guess now you can pretend there's a million genders, whatever. You're dating somebody and they're just not good for you, but you still care to look at their social media. You're still worrying and hoping they call you. You're still thinking about them, and you're still investing mental energy, hoping one day that they're going to do something that they've never done before. And that's the same thing as emotionally investing in certain names that just don't seasonally line up. They don't make sense. They don't work because of repeating patterns. And so you're literally investing mentally in something that's not likely going to happen. It's low probability. And Zeph, you just happen to be catching the brunt of this conversation because I get it constantly. And this is the same problem that everybody has at some point. That's the reality. You emotionally believe you have to buy Tesla and that it's going higher. And people will buy this and hold it and hold it and hold it and hold it and think it's going back to the moon. And just like every other stock like that, what happens? Now, again, this isn't AMC, but it doesn't mean it can't get smoked. Right? Yeah, it's not GameStop. I know, but it's the same pattern. Like, once the peak is in, these bounces are all just set to be sold. Does this make sense? You got to be careful what you emotionally, mentally invest in. Gold and the miners historically do not rally until the Feds pivot and put liquidity into the market. These names are liquidity avenues. Mechanisms for liquidity. That's all they are at this point. Once the liquidity goes out, they're no good. That's all it is. I mean, again, if you bought dust, you should have not sold it. I don't know why people were... Again, until the market blows out, dust is like free money at this point. But again, you got to buy it. You want to buy it on dips. But it's the same emotional, mental problem of like swing trading. Like certain things, like, okay, you got profits, take it, cool. But if you're just trading it for like $1, it's like, why would I short Caterpillar and just watch it and only take a little money off it? Like, I'm going to continue to trade around it, but also know that at some point the big move is coming. And once it does, I am holding on tight. Holding on tight. TLT for December, feeling like a double bottom is in play. All right, be careful on the tilt. SPY, man, imagine are you intraday trading it, Danny? Is that your question? I mean, I'd be watching this area. No, but I wouldn't play JDST. That's the thing. Or sorry, I just wouldn't play metals for a bounce. I don't know. Had a meeting, so hard drop. Like, yeah, no worries, man. Again, I would just be careful with the TLT. It's got a 3-gap trap. Let's look at the SPY hourly. I haven't updated the drawings here because I was on a different computer. I was in Idaho. I mean, this level matters down here, clearly. And it's just, will it break today? That's a good question. I don't know. Intraday wise, yeah. I mean, I still personally think the bottom is not in by any means, but it could be choppy. It could be in for some of this or some of that, or, you know, you've seen this before. You know what's up. I mean, I don't know if we're going to rally that strong, but we could be in for like these couple days of just chop in between some down moves. And remember, in down moves, it's kind of like Monday and Friday are kind of reprieve days. Then it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday burn. Right? Like the Monday is to like bring people in because it's new money, new week, everything's great, it's going to be awesome. And then the data comes usually Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, or things go nuts. 400s. I mean, SPY will likely go. No, SPY's going to go a fuck ton lower if this is a bear market. At the lows in a bear market, nobody wants the market. That's how you know you're at a legitimate bottom. I've said many times, I would not be surprised by the 200 week, 230s. If we have a true bear market, credit unwind, market unwind, capital unwind, all sorts of just crazy stuff. Like that's to me where it would be. Somewhere in the mid 200s. I mean, you could go, and again, when they start heading for the exit, it's not emotional. It's just the same thing like when we rally during COVID liquidity. Or at lows, people want to short. No. At true lows in a bear market, the retail investor is dead. They got totally destroyed because they kept buying calls. They kept going long. They tried to short, but then the volatility and the bear market rallies would blow them out. Retail traders give up. That's how you know you're at a bear market low because they got destroyed both directions. They tried to buy dips, that got smoked. They tried to short, and they got destroyed. Like, that's how you know. Like, again, I don't know, Zeph, if you've read Livermore's book, but you need to re-listen to it, reread it 1,000 times until you understand how the operators work. And again, I don't say this stuff because I'm just talking out of my ass. This is because this is the reoccurring patterns that I've noticed over the last 20 years of trading. This stuff happens. At the lows, traders have gotten destroyed. They tried to short, they got smoked out. They tried to buy dips, they got penalized. And it's a reoccurring theme where that's why bear market rallies are so severe, right? They're 17% on average pops. Right? The problem with 7% is it could be in a couple days or a week. It could be very quick or it could be very slow. But either way, like it's painful for everybody involved in the market. That's what the problem. That's the thing is that like retail traders are just gone. They got cooked. Yeah, I mean, and again, what levels will it go to? I mean, remember the SPY got down to 666. I mean, that when it was up in the 200s, what was the last bull market? Bull market highs, right? What was the highs? I'm trying to remember the exact high. I should know this, but sorry, 150s. It went to 666. Like, did the economy contract by 60%? No. GDP went to like negative 8%. That's all. Does this make sense? Like, we don't know. We don't know. All we know is that the formations will repeat. You'll get big red. You'll get capitulation. You'll get some sort of chop. You'll get down to some extreme price. You'll make a lower low potentially. Like here was the low in October. Sorry, was it October? Yeah, November. We chopped around, made a new low, and then bottomed. We'll make some low. It'll extreme. People will be so distraught they'll give up. It'll bounce and something feels off today with yields ripping, oil red, deflation, tech green, thoughts. Oil red should be dropping yields, one would think. No. This is about new money coming in, and I don't think people want bonds. I think, honestly, as I said earlier in the video, like kicking the can of the debt ceiling down the road 45 days does not give the market confidence that this is at all resolved. 45 days will be here before you know it. And in my opinion, as I said earlier on the video, I have no desire to play in the bond pit. I just don't. You got the 3 gap trap potentially, third gap. But what's the upside here? Like, are we now becoming a credit risk and everywhere around the world that nobody wants bonds? Banks were incentivized once to hold them. Well, now liquidity is being pulled out of the system. Like, who's going to bail out bond buyers? Again, I thought yields would go lower. Again, this is why we have this mindset of you have to be able to pivot. Like, if it's just not right, it's just not right. I personally wouldn't play in the bond space because, again, the feds are not coordinating a pivot or a bond buying program at this point. I agree. If bond yields should be going down if oil's getting smoked. But what if this is just more of a liquidity measure? Like, this is one of those things where you, me, and everybody involved don't know what's going on behind the scenes in the market liquidity field. Meaning there's people who own bonds that just, like, on every bounce want to get the hell out. That could be more powerful than actual what's going on with inflation. Because if it was that simple, right? Like, then yeah, bonds probably should be at 90. Because we know inflation is coming down because of commodities coming down, but oil spiked. That kind of put a headache in people's minds. But here's the ultimate thing: is like, is the U.S. a credit risk? I've said this in my mind, like, I don't know. And look at corporate debt. Yikes! I mean, again, I think we're about due for a big smasher, which would be interesting to start a quarter. And maybe that's the thing. The 60-40 bond portfolio, like stock bond portfolio, is dead. I mean, I keep seeing that as a truth. Like, I can't argue that. People just pounded into liquidity like it was always going to be there. Again, I just don't. It's like gold. Maybe gold and bonds are kind of the same thing here in that sense of, like, wait till the feds announce a liquidity program. Just wait. Just wait. Now, again, there might be a trade in it, but I can't find myself. Again, I wanted to pull the trigger and I got stopped out. I just don't feel, again, emotionally tied to thinking that I need to buy bonds here. Because I think there's better trades. Maybe that's the best way to put it. Can you look at BCH? BCH, what is that? The Balanced Chile ETF? What do you want me to look at it? I mean, this thing is like watching paint dry. I mean, the thing doesn't really move. I don't know. Doesn't look good. I mean, it looks like a downtrend. Oh, Bitcoin? Again, I don't like Bitcoin. No, I don't like Bitcoin at all. It's like gold. They're all liquidity proxies. Bitcoin is hitting some resistance at 28,000. I don't like it. It broke the channel. It's just a back test potentially. I don't know. Again, Bitcoin has become a liquidity proxy. BCH chess. Well, what's the symbol? I mean, what do I put in? You talking about Biddy or what? I don't know how to, what's the signal or what's the ticker? BCACHS? I don't. I just don't like Bitcoin, and it's not that I don't like them long term, like gold, all this stuff. If they're all liquidity proxies, they're caught in the problem that I find with all this stuff. No matter if it's gold, miners, silver, Bitcoin, stocks. Once the liquidity comes out, the feds are pulling their balance sheet. Once the market, Bitcoin Cash, it's all trash. It's all going lower, man. Or trend, Victoria, I guess. You got to be careful. You got to be careful because the fourth quarter, and I say this every video, I don't recognize you, I'll say it for you gladly. The fourth quarter, it's the mutual fund calendar year. So they're going to start dumping losers and liquidating things that they're scared of. Bonuses and hedge funds, institutions, any sort of trading proxy is calculated in the fourth quarter. Everyone wants that bonus. If the market starts melting, your bonus starts melting. If you've been long, you are going to protect your investment into your bonus by all means necessary, which means if you have to, you will absolutely liquidate whatever it takes to prevent your year from being ruined. So market's up, whatever, 20% for the year, I think, maybe off the, what is it? And again, you probably don't like my answer. You're new. A lot of people come in here, they go, well, he's going to just tell me what I want to hear. No, I tell people the truth. For the year, the market is what? 2023. Yeah, I mean, you got a decent gain. Again, I don't trust it. Honest, do you think more information will come out about banks before or during earnings, or will they try to continue to attempt to cover up their pain? You know, that's a good question. If you're short financials, which we've talked about, they're going to get destroyed. Again, wave 2 of a credit crunch. I mean, I know they threw $490 billion in and let them buy bonds and like try to balance themselves out, but there's clearly there's a problem here that nobody can buy bonds at this point. And as they go lower, it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like nobody wants to own them. The less they want to be owned, the more they get sold, right? Like no one sitting here has the ability to stop and catch the falling knife in bonds, which is hurting the hell out of banks. Banks are not generating loans. Real estate has fallen off a cliff. Commercial real estate's a mess. Small business loans, good luck. I mean, do you want to get murdered on your interest rate? I mean, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I'm with you. I just don't know. Like, again, if you're new to the channel, I don't know if you are or not. If you aren't, cool. We've talked about like the bigger play on like what was going on with the XLF. Check out the monthly. Again, any trade starts on the monthly. There's a reason why it bounced in the 30 level. There's a reason why it keeps trying to like climb back up to resistance and then fails. It's just one of those things where it's a matter of not if, just when. Like, I don't see why we wouldn't come back into the low 30s. Do we bounce during earnings? I don't know. I mean, every bank's going to have their own little tune and dance, right? Like, you don't see bankers, and especially during bank earnings, say, we suck and the world's going to end. Unless they're literally going out of business. And they probably won't say that until literally they've all sold all their stocks and cashed out and get their golden parachutes, right? Like, that's not when they send that. So, I mean, again, I would think the fourth quarter, Johannes, like sometime October, soon. I mean, shit, earnings are coming up soon. Some of them are going to try to talk like they're okay. They've done all right, but people are going to read through it, in my opinion, and just know that this is not over. Pain train is not over for financials. You got a reprieve here, which I'm impressed they did. Again, Feds tried to stop it, but I just don't know how they continue. I don't know if they have enough bullets to unload their balance sheet and do what they're going to do. I mean, and if they do, then we'll buy gold because the liquidity will flow in and so heavy and the market will rally. And that'll be, again, it won't be like the bottom. It'll probably be like we showed in 2008 where you had a bottom in October or November and then you retested in March. But remember, gold and silver, here, I'll show you again. We'll talk about this again on the monthly. In 2008, right? The bottom in the gold is when the Feds pivoted in November. You see this? The market, remember, SPY didn't bottom until March 2009. But look where gold was by March 2009. It had rallied from 66 up to 98. So do you see why I wait for the pivot? But that doesn't necessarily mean financials will bounce, right? Like, I'm curious again to look at the XLF in that time point. If I remember right, when did it bounce? It didn't bottom until March, exactly, because the financials were the weakest. I mean, they got to bounce, but they didn't bottom. Because, again, they were the source of the pain, so they didn't bottom till the last. I hope this helps. Again, I mean, some people say, like, oh, you sound frustrated. It's like, no, I just hate when people have been around. Because if you're new, again, I don't mind showing you something. But if you've been around and you've heard it, again, I talk about gold, metals, miners every day. I talk about the same stuff essentially with thoughts about mindset. And people have been around. Like, if you're just not absorbing this, it's not my fault. And so at some point, I'm going to call you out in a nice way, in a friendly way, and just like, what the hell? Like, what are you not seeing that makes you think you need to do this or that? Like, it's just, that's your own problem. Like, again, it's like, I love this analogy because I think it really relates. Is like you're dating somebody that has a tendency of avoidance and doesn't want to commit to you, and they don't want to date you, and they're not going to ever date you, and you're just chasing them, hoping that somehow something you're going to do is going to make them change. And that's just like the market. Nothing you say or do is going to make the metals do what you think they're going to do. And just because the prices are low or high or what, it just doesn't matter. So, all right, I'm going to wrap it up. Again, I appreciate all the love and support. You guys are great. Appreciate super chats, all that stuff. You want to buy me a beer, you want to donate. Some of you guys have donated 4 and 5 figures. And again, I only hope, first of all, that you're paying yourself, setting some away from taxes, treating your family, friends, whatever, again, benefiting from this discipline and well-off trading, and doing ultimately the best things you can with the money to make it worth it. And then if you want to chip off a little for me, again, I appreciate it. As I tell people this all the time, if you're investing in the channel, I'm investing back in your success. It matters to me because it means you understand the value that I'm trying to present here. Again, am I perfect? No. Are you going to be perfect? No. Are you always going to win? No. We're here for each other. Yeah, that makes sense. The consumer is becoming weaker and pulling out deposits at a rapid rate. Well, keep in mind, Johannes, the unemployment rate has not budged yet. Wait till unemployment becomes a problem, and all of a sudden house prices start dropping. People don't have the ability to maintain their lifestyles, and they have to start selling their houses. It doesn't matter what the interest rate is. They have huge gains in real estate. Like, it's just going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy once unemployment starts to rise, and I don't see how they're going to stop that trend. AI probably accelerates a lot of job loss. Do we not agree? And so it's just a matter of when, not if again. And again, and if it doesn't happen, then the feds went out and they shot the free money bazooka everywhere. And you know what? They usually don't get away with that until things get really bad. So at least you'll have some pain before that happens, right? They're not going to preventatively fire the liquidity cannon. So good chat, man. I appreciate you guys and gals. And yeah, if you have any questions, again, please reach out. You know where to hit me at. Take the time, sign up for Calendly. I don't know why people don't hit me up more often than not. Again, if you really need help, I'm not like I'm sitting here trying to, I'm not day trading all day. You guys know this. I have a life. I don't sit here and watch the candles paint. I try to get in my trades. I set my stops. I do what I'm going to do. And I just allow trades to come to me. So I will talk to you guys and gals and look out for the daily market review in a couple hours. Talk to you later.